So Nasim is filing for I-751 removal of conditions. As we talked about, that's when your green card is issued within 2 years of your marriage. And to keep the green card, to make it a permanent 10-year green card, you have to file another form of I-751. So I want to give you advice. The 3 main documents that you need to have a lot more of this if possible, but the 3 ones USCIS loves to have, it's very important. 1, driver's licenses with the same address on it. So if you're a husband and wife or same-sex couple, whatever it is, a spouse, a couple, if you have your driver's license with the same address, you submit that as proof of joint address. That's very important. Along with that, a lease agreement or lease agreements or ownership and property together. But the driver's license is something they like to see that has the same address or maybe IDs if you don't drive. Number 2, tax returns for the last 2 years. So from the time you got married, when you could start filing jointly tax returns, that you filed it. And filing as married filing jointly, not married filing separately. That's better for it to be jointly filed tax returns. But 2 is tax returns. And 3, joint bank accounts is very important. And bank accounts that you use, not that just that you opened up and sat there. Money goes in, money comes out. And they want to see last 2 years worth. So from the time you get the green card to the time of submitting, between 21 to 24 bank statements, literally. So you go back and you go to your bank account and you print out 24 months or not 21 months, whenever the time is that you're filing, worth of bank statements. And that comes a lot of paper. If you have a credit card account together too, that's another set of 21 or 24 months of statements as you're going to be printing. But those are the 3 with, extra stuff right there. The driver's license showing same address and hopefully, a lease agreement or a property ownership together. Secondly, bank statements and credit cards. I'm switching it up. Bank statements and credit cards for the last 24 months. And 3rd, tax returns. They're really, those 3, if they don't see it, they don't like it. Usually clients have 2 out of 3 at least, but really do that. But in addition to that, you can have joint insurance. And when you do stuff, try to go back. So if you have joint car insurance, you got to try to get 2 years worth of car insurance stubs that go with that. What else could you do? Health insurance together. If you have a pet together, get the pet ownership or veterinarian record that show your both ownership there. Family photos together, going different places. Evidence of your flights together and travel together. So if you got on a plane together, have both your names, send that out. So there's a lot more kind of things, letters from family and friends, copies of birthdays and anniversary cards and gifts you give to each other. And there's just a lot of stuff. You just have to go into your relationship, dig down and see what's going on. And then, you could submit this to USCIS to help them with your case. I hope that information helped. The main problem that I've seen when people file on their own is that it's sloppy. You want to make it very easy for USCIS to flip through it, find everything that they need, and feel confident that this case is okay and doesn't need more review. What I've seen is, like every case I've ever done myself, I-751, knock on wood, that hopefully it doesn't change in the future, I've never had an interview for my cases. But the only times I've been to interview are for people who have hired me just to come for the interview. And I rarely do that, mostly when I feel bad for the couple, usually a young couple or something like that, because they've already messed it up. And every time I go there and do that, the main reason I see they call for the interview is they just got a bunch of paper, shoved it in there, no organization, no cover letter, and the officer can't figure out what's going on here. And so they just say, okay, come in person and let's figure out what's going on this. And it's not a pleasant experience to have an I-751 interview. Many times they separate you in different rooms and talk with you. So it's really important to just be very organized and make it easy for the other officer to believe and know that your relationship is real. And that's really the number 1 tip I would have to give, along with having a ton of documentation. Is it still a requirement for 2 affidavits of support from friends and family members for marriage I-751? There's no requirement. This goes back to the removal of conditions I was talking about earlier for people that have newer marriages and newer green cards. There's no requirement that you provide an affidavit, but if you are going to provide it, first of all, it has to be minimum of 2 letters. And secondly, you need to have original ink signatures on those. So those friends or family members, whoever they are that know about your relationship, that could attest to it in those affidavits, have to sign in with a pen and give you that original to mail to USCIS. In other kinds of applications, in the I-130, we send copies, but for those, you need ink signature. The minimum is 2 if you choose to add that. And, in a lot of cases, why not add it? But not always. Sometimes, there's so much evidence to the relationship, we don't need it. Or I have another case where a couple just don't want to get other people involved in their business. So they don't want to ask for that favor, deal with it, so we just don't submit it. It depends on how strong your case is and what other kind of evidence that you do have. Because if you have so much other evidence, this definitely is not going to add anything. But, if you have time, why not? Just do it properly, write it properly, all that kind of stuff. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please click subscribe down here and ring that bell to get the latest updates. Also, please follow us at the links above on these various social media sites to catch the latest information, live videos, and more to help you be updated on U.S. immigration.